Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our witnesses for being with us today. I've already read your testimonies. Ms. Harrington, my father was president of the Illinois branch NAACP for over 20 years in Chicago, in Illinois, at the height of the civil rights movement. And I'm so glad to see you here today to continue the important work to help this country actually live up to its promise of liberty and justice for all people. That promise, despite being the culminating line of our Pledge of Allegiance, despite being recited by members of Congress in classrooms around the country every single day, is one that is increasingly under attack by my Republican colleagues in Congress and the White House. Time and time again, Republicans attempt to demonize programs that make people's lives better as politically biased because they simply don't believe them to be an important role of our government. It isn't about evaluating these programs on their merits or the benefit that they provide. It's about trying to fulfill their narrow view of what the role of our federal government should be. It's about propping up the idea that their way of thinking is the only acceptable one, regardless of the outcomes of the policies that they support. They're so focused on those goals that they fail to see the benefits that the work of these scholars and other public servants provides to our country and actually for the world. It's why this administration would rather pay money to set food on fire and destroy it than to see it end up in the hands of hungry women and children. Wanting to represent your country on the largest stage in order to share how your work makes this country a better place is not a progressive ideal. It's a uniquely American one. Wanting to lead in spaces like human rights, wanting to eradicate poverty at home and abroad so that all those that are made in God's image can live a decent and fulfilling life, these are not progressive or partisan ideals. These are the things that make millions of Americans take real pride in their lives every single day. It's what is supposed to make this country so special and better than others like it. It isn't just about where you were born or where you live. It's about what your country stands for, whether it's really fighting for the ideals or just talking about them out of convenience. Ms. Harrington, as you know, the Truman Foundation requires scholars to take a job in public service for at least 3 of the 7 years after their studies. This suggests the idea that the scholarship's focus on public service itself is the source of the misguided opinion that a disproportionate share of Truman scholars are progressive. Can you please talk about how conservative attacks on the importance and the benefits of public service play a role in the makeup of Truman Scholarship recipients? And if you can do so quickly, I have such short time.
I think this is just an attack on dissent, and public service should have no ideology, as you mentioned. And so with bipartisan board of trustees, bipartisan selection committee, they have created a program that values people who are interested in public service, period. It's not about partisan identity, but they're also trying to do an attack on public service and dissent so that they can also impact the services that are provided by these entities, right? And the communities that are impacted by these services. And so it's an idea of not just attacking the beliefs and ideologies, but what organizations, governments can do for the communities they serve.
Thank you. So this is clearly just another episode of selective outrage over the use of public dollars. So let's put this in perspective. We are having a hearing today over an annual appropriation that's made by Congress of just $3 million, just $3 million. An appropriation supported by Congress and signed into law by the president. President Trump just sent $20 billion, and that's billion with a B, to help his political allies in Argentina win a foreign election. And the Republican majority will not condemn that as a misuse of public funds. I don't believe any committee or subcommittee has had a hearing on that. Instead, we're using the people's time to examine $3 million specifically dedicated to scholarships meant for people trying to make this country a better and safer place to live. I don't believe this is a good use of this subcommittee or any subcommittee's time, and I hope that we recommit ourselves to real issues that have a positive impact on Americans' everyday lives, and I yield.